So the way that we structure our meals can have a massive effect on our appetite. And indeed, a major mistake that I see people making is that they fail to eat the right sort of meals and structure their meals properly. And therefore they are left feeling hungry at common times such as mid-morning, mid-afternoon, or into the evening, okay? So we can structure our meals effectively in order to reduce our appetite and our physical cravings for food at these more sort of snacky times. And to do that, there's a few things to consider. First of all is protein, okay? So protein is the most satiating out of the macronutrients. It takes the longest to digest, it fills us up the most. So we wanna make sure that our meals contain a good amount of protein. And I typically try and get people to consume at least a quarter of their portion, a quarter of their plate comes from high protein rich foods. So think of your meat, your dairy, a lot of plant-based proteins like legumes, eggs, things like that. So that's kind of the first thing. Secondly is your nutritionally dense foods. So, your vegetables, your fruits in many cases, more plant-based foods. So the body, remember, is not just craving calories, it's looking for nutrients. And if we fill the body up on what I call nutritionally dense food which is very high in nutritional value, but low in calorie content, then we're gonna satisfy the body without giving it the calories, okay? So, your leafy green vegetables, for example, are a great example here, okay? And I try and get people to make up to 50% of their meal comes from this nutritionally dense food, typically your fruit and veg, yeah? And then finally, to complete the meal, the final quarter portion, that's where you can start adding in your more starchier carbohydrates, whole grains, potatoes, rice, pasta, bread, that sort of stuff, okay? And this is the sort of food that is primarily there for your kind of, your energy levels, your carbohydrates for energy, things like that. And this is typically the macronutrient that as a nation we overconsume. So just by reducing that to sort of quarter of your portion coming from that starchy carb, you're giving yourself enough to keep you energized, but you're not overconsuming it, okay? It digests quicker through the system than the protein does, for example, and therefore it won't keep us for as full for quite so long. So if you structure your meals around those three things, guys, if you first of all make sure you've got protein-rich ingredient, then bulk the meal out with nutritionally dense foods, and then complete the meal with your starchy carbohydrates. And by doing that at each meal, you're gonna give your body the best satisfaction, the best fulfillment that will hopefully take you through to the next meal without having that physical cravings in between for snacks.